It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists and a piercer talk about some of the more common questions and topics. Those that tattoo and those that collect tattoos and piercings, I guess, and those that pierce too, may have. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo and the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. What we're going to talk about today is tattoo and body piercing scams and how to avoid them. Before we get into that, I'll talk about who's here. Directly across from me is Brent Starr, tattoo artist at Skin Kitchen. Next to him is Jimmy St. John, tattoo artist at Skin Kitchen. Next to me is Jack Lowe, tattoo artist and owner of the Skin Kitchen. And I'm DaVo. I do body piercing, and I run the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. So, what kind of got this started? I'm not going to talk about that scam, but we've actually had people contact us. From what I understand, from what Jess told me, is they contacted these people claiming to be artists, contacted people directly on Facebook through Messenger and said, well, you know, here we're going to do this tattoo. It's only going to be $500 for the sleeve. You need to send me $350, and then I'll get the process started.
I heard about something like this going around. It might have been a year or two ago, but I don't remember hearing that we were getting like scooped up into that. And when I first heard about it, I thought, man, if it was that easy, I'm thinking to myself, how, you can just call people up and just say, I'm going to put siding on your house in a couple weeks. If you give me half now, I can get you in a week.
Yeah, but that happens. People walk up on people's houses and go, after a tornado or whatever, they were notorious for going in and going, yeah, I'll replace your entire roof. Don't tell anybody, but I'll do it for this amount. All you need to do is sign right here and give me $2,000.
Yep.
And then they would vanish.
Oh, yeah. You hit up 5-6 people,
So, yeah. But, that's the good and the bad thing, I guess, about online. You could argue is that, it makes a scam kind of like that a little easier. But it's also easy for people to go, hey, look out for this scam and shut it down a little quicker than it would have in the 60s, I guess. No shame on the 60s. I love the 60s, I think. Yeah. I wasn't there.
You got to call the paper.
Regardless of what I look like, don't judge me. But, that's kind of scary, man.
But also having the internet and all those tools at your disposal, it's a little bit of responsibility, I think, on the customer too, to do some research.
Always.
Because you can just as easily go online and be like, okay, this dude's name's this. He works at this place. Go to that place's website. Yeah. That dude's name's not on there. You know why? Because he doesn't work there. That's why.
and that's Jess was alerted to this, by our customers, contacting her. So thankfully, they were vigilant and, paying attention. And, that seems a little sketch, So they contacted her and, so, praise them for, being aware. But that is kind of scary.
So
it just said something.
Yeah. So this has happened recently, probably 10 times lately.
10?
Yeah.
What?
It's on
tell me.
So it's on Facebook. Somebody will set up a profile, and it's always tattoos by blank. Okay. So it'll be tattoos. I think one of them was tattoos by Mike. Another one was like tattoos by Jared. And if you go on their page, it's a bunch of different tattoos, and you can tell, if you really know what you're looking for, that they're all taken in different shops, and none of the styles.
The artists aren't the same, obviously.
No, they're definitely not the same. But these people put up ads, and then they boost it through Facebook, and then people see it. It's a lot of people. I think only one person was actually one of our clients, and it doesn't say on the ad or on their page where they work. So people will contact them after seeing this, after it's boosted, and then they're like, oh, yeah, how much for this? Like, I actually talked to this scammer and pretended like I was going to get a tattoo.
So tell us about that.
So we had a lady contact us, and she's like, hey, I've been talking to this guy, and he says that he works there, but he's not on your website. And he wants me to send him half of the price now. It's a deposit. And I was like, he does not work here. What are you talking about? And so she sent me all the information. So I contacted him. He was Tattoos by Mike. Yeah. And so you can tell that English was not his first language if you really read into it. And I'm like, hey, I really want to get this tattoo. This is the style I liked. And I sent him the photo of that guy in Paris that I really like. Yeah. That amazing tattoo artist in Paris. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. No problem. It'll be $500. I'm like, that is so cheap. That's amazing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, where do you work? And he's like, I work at the Skin Kitchen, and he sent me the address. And I'm like, really, you do? How come you're not on their website? Address? Oh yeah, 3800 Douglas. And I'm like, well, why are you not on the website? And he's like, oh, well, I just started there. I haven't been there very long. Yeah. I can actually send you all of these messages if you want to post them in the thing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And he's like, so we go back and forth, and I'm like, okay. And he's pushing for that deposit. Send it to me. I think it was Apple Pay. And
wow.
Yeah, it was like half. I think it was $350 that he wanted down. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Are you sure that you work at Skin Kitchen? Because I called there. And he's like, oh, yeah, I do, definitely. I'm like, well, that's really funny, because guess who does work there? And then he starts sending back, I'm a legitimate business. You're trying to hurt me and all this stuff. I was
he's
like,
a victim.
I was like, you guys are kidding me.
That's you poor. Why would you get in the way of him feeding his family?
So normally most people that I've talked to have caught it, or at least called me and been like, hey, does this artist work there? Because after that, I turned him into Facebook, and he turned into Tattoos About Jared or whatever. Okay. And so normally most people catch it, but we have had one person that came from out of town. She showed up here on a Tuesday. No way. When we were closed, so I guess they check our hours.
Oh, good idea.
To see
set it up when we're not even here. So then we don't find out about it. Supposedly, we don't know. We're not here. It takes a little longer.
Yeah, right. This poor, Smart, I felt so bad for her. Wow. She had sent him $1,000 to do this tattoo. When I came back in on Thursday, we had 15 messages on our answering machine. Oh, she's like, I'm here, I'm beating on the door, nobody's coming to the door, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, wow. So I called her, I'm like, I am so sorry, but,
yeah, you got
he doesn't work here. I've never heard of this guy. And I felt so horrible for her. But she did what DaVo said not to do. She sent it friends and family to him, so she couldn't get the money back.
Okay.
Here's the thing that usually, and we've all been contacted by some idiot stranger on some type of social media that claims to be somebody or whatever that you've never heard of before, and they're very interested in you. And it's usually a romance scam. Yeah. And this is kind of the same setup. What they're going to want to do is they're going to push you off into another chat program as quickly as possible, so that if they do get reported, they can still keep in contact with you. The other thing they're going to do is if they ask for money, they're always going to ask that you send it friends and family. And the reason for that is like PayPal. I don't know about Venmo. Apple Pay, I guess, is the same. It's like if you send it friends and family, they don't take any processing fees. But if you send it legit business transaction, they take their processing cut. The reason why they do that is they will guarantee the transaction, meaning that if you come back and go, hey, this person defrauded me, they'll refund you the money. Right. If you send it friends and family, you are saying that it's my friend and I know this person.
You're trusting them.
You're skipping
so they are not going to protect you.
Right.
Weird. But you save a couple bucks.
Yeah.
No. I wouldn't.
Jeez. Yeah, guys, come on.
Don't do it.
Don't
spend whatever the fee is.
Always contact the studio.
That too. But man,
that
sucks.
That's why it's so good. And really anything you're gonna put, any kind of value of life on, or something that is a decision that is hard to reverse. Talk to people that have had the service done by that person that you're thinking of getting, and I know there's those times where that's really not an option, but at least consider that. Don't think just because that's not an option that, well, nothing I can do, I just throw myself to the wolves and hope I don't get attacked too bad. Man, just do your due diligence. There's God, there's more incredible tattooers out there than ever now.
Oh yeah,
it is almost soul crushing for an artist who's been in it a long time and had their kind of handful of superstars that just really jumped out, that pushed you and made you want to try new things, try new groupings, and just expand, and always gave you something to strive for. But it was always easy to find the ones that made you feel like it was worth tattooing another day.
Yeah.
So, but now it is almost impossible to find,
There's people that's been doing it like 3, 4, 5 years that are just doing unbelievable stuff.
Because I got to skip steps. Like when we started, when you guys started, you were doing it on trace paper.
Well, yeah, there's a lot.
And there wasn't really access to all the amount of art that that we have access to.
Right.
So now they don't have to do that.
Yeah.
They don't have to build the foundation anymore.
But still,
it's a little, it's a little more automated.
Yeah, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah, like, a little bit.
It could have been a big turnout. It would probably be now. This is a conversation. If you took away that automation from tattooing, like a switch, like an EMP of tattooing went off, and you could no longer use Thermofax, you could no longer use a copy machine. You could only use pencils, rulers, templates, like we used to. We used to.
Hand stencils.
How many tattooers would stick with tattooing? You had to make all your own groupings, had to solder all your own needles, had to bag every single one, had to autoclave every single one, had to date every single one when you claved it, when it expired. You had to have them ready for the clients that were coming up.
I would make custom needles back in those days for certain tattoos. Like if I had a big American traditional eagle to do.
Yeah.
I'd build a set of needles for that. And if I was going to do like a really realistic black and gray soft, I'd make a different set of needles for those.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, that was kind of the fun part about
totally.
it.
You could custom make needles.
You could custom make all the way down to your needle. Not just your machine and how you set it up and everything else, but your actual needle.
Yeah.
See, I've got a new apprentice, Scott. Yeah. And one of the things she said to me just on Thursday, she's like, I really had no clue how much work goes on that's outside of taking care of clients. And I'm like, because we're still at that point where we have to reprocess tools.
It's night and day difference.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And just that homework type aspect, like now with information so available, you can just, couple clicks and bam, there's your references and everything.
Because
back in the day we had to go to the library and look stuff up in books and kind of
hope we find the right angle,
right? And it wasn't just really that easy to find those.
That reminds me, I remember how many times did you have to go to Kinko's, right, to get stuff blown up or
to pay 20%.
Because you forgot you was at the shop on the way to a convention.
Well, I mean for a client.
Oh yeah.
Doing back pieces or different times you had to go because you needed the color copy or something.
You have 5 different or 10 different percentages of size gradient, and
I remember when they came out with the mirror button.
Oh yeah.
On the
Fax?
Photo pack, on the copiers and stuff.
That was a big deal.
That was just like, because we would all like do it and then do make a copy of the stencil because it was around the other way and this, that, and everything. But like you'd lose detail and it would get bigger and smudgier. And it would just, anything you had writing on, well, you can't just flip it around.
Yeah. And it was as an example, maybe for an artist who's had the good fortune of not having to have a full 10 by 10 space with a drawing, table and light table and all that shit. Just imagine somebody comes in and wants Old English lettering in an arch from hip to hip that follows their belly just right, and as it lays across there, ends at the other hip, and all that, and all you have is tracing paper and a pencil. And you have to lay this tracing paper on their body, crinkle it against them to get this rough kind of draw the space, and then you've got to get the lettering, and now you have to blow up every letter to the exact same percentage. Then you have to cut those letters out of paper, and then you have to place that on a curved line and position it by hand by looking and spacing out to make sure that it's going to arc just right. Take you about 30 minutes, 20 minutes if you're cooking and the copier's doing what you want, and depending on how many letters. But then you blow it up to the size it's going to be on the belly, and the curve is fucked. That doesn't mean you go back to the slider bar on your iPad and nudge it. That means you start from scratch.
Yep.
I used
You've
to
got
try to
resize, re-arc, everything.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of artists that still do that stuff.
They
today.
absolutely do.
They do.
But there's most of them don't, and I don't blame them.
No, a large portion of the community, I think, doesn't even. They wouldn't know how to.
And see, part of it, and why these scams are more predominant now, is, and they're a lot more sophisticated. They know more of the terminology now,
Right?
Because that information's out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It isn't like if somebody would have called me up on a telephone back in 1988 and said, "Hey, I'm doing tattoos, and you only have to send me money, and make out the money
BS.
order or Western Union or whatever would have been at that point," I would have said absolutely no.
Nope.
But now they can present themselves. You can see a full portfolio.
Well, yeah,
they
back
can
when we
pick
were
only
getting
the
tattoos
best.
in the 80s, it
There's
was
just
like
no
one
possibility
And
that you could have done that back then.
Yeah.
But they are becoming more and more sophisticated, so it's easier for them to fool people when they know the terminology.
It's a good market to do because it's a very high dollar kind of. The prices can be everywhere, but you know it's going to be you're going to spend some money. So you're not just making 10 or 15 bucks if you nail somebody.
Yeah.
And it's something that a lot of people want, but they just don't take the time to go in, to do the research. It plops in their lap.
Yeah, they don't have any experience.
And they're like, shit, I can make an appointment right now for
Right.
that tattoo I've been wanting, but I didn't know where to go or how to get it started, and I can just do it. Boom,
And
got them.
that seems like such a good deal. I mean, how could I pass that up? You
I
know?
feel so bad for
And see,
that lady.
they appeal to the greed aspect.
Yeah.
Any
it's
good
just-
scam does.
But it's still just, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
You got to watch your butt out there for sure. And what I was getting to the point before we got on the spiel about how bad we had it is for whatever reason, there's so many good artists out there.
Oh, yeah.
That you have no excuse to get a bad tattoo anymore.
Right.
Before it was kind of a luck.
Yeah.
It was luck who you knew, if you were there at the right time when they were the right amount of sober, the moon was in the right fucking phase, they were in town that week, and you were able to get something. But it's not like that anymore, people.
No.
You've got more
There's so
information
many
you could ever
incredible
look through.
artists
All the questions are answered that you could have.
Yeah.
So don't let yourself fall prey to the this is easy. I'll just hit buy now.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
And-
the other part of it is one thing that we worked hard in piercing about and the body art industry over the last 20 years is legitimize our business. And by doing that, we have gotten more consistent with how we practice business.
Yeah.
And if somebody's contacting you like that, that's not good business sense. The other thing is if they have the time to chat with you all day long,
They're not busy.
they're probably not a tattoo artist in the first place because they're not going to have time to fucking do that.
And the
they
stuff
hire
they're
people
showing
to do
you,
that.
Yes,
the stuff you're
exactly.
seeing on their portfolios or whatnot or their pictures, there's so much detail and time put into those tattoos. There's no way they've got all this time to sit and talk to you.
Yeah, chances are.
And they wouldn't be calling people up for fucking appointments.
Right.
He's my friend.
Yeah.
Because if you tattooed like that, you wouldn't have to call anybody. They'd call you. They'd beat your door down to get to you.
Right.
And I think what they're trying to do is feed off of. There used to be a lot more travel tattooing.
Yeah.
And I do see it occasionally.
Yeah, it's become
And
more
I
of
think
a-
that's what it is they think, oh, they're only in town for 2 days or whatever.
Yep.
I think the traveling
But
tattoo
even at
artist
that-
has become more of a almost an urban legend kind of thing.
Well,
It's like it's not like it used to be, but it's still a lot of it going on.
Now 99% of that is they're not going to try to make a buck where the fish are biting. They're going there because there's people there that are going to pay them tons of money because they're going to be there for a guest spot and they're booked.
Yep.
They don't got to call anybody to try to fill their chair because they're chasing where the fish are biting.
Right.
They're going there because
Those
they were
people sought after
asked
them.
to be
Yeah.
there because they're friends and colleagues with the person that owns the shop. They want to collaborate. They want to learn. They want to socialize. They want to network. And then that artist gets to spread their seed in that town and they can build a little clientele. Now that artist has got another little home they can pop to. And now through that guy, he met a couple of his friends that own shops and now he's going to go do the same thing. And a guy from that shop's going to come back to this guy's shop.
That's
And
a network.
we learn.
That's
and
how I
our
wound up
art,
here.
Our artwork, exactly. So, if someone's contacting you, telling you that they're great, they're not.
No.
Great people don't
say nothing.
ever have to say they're great.
And it's funny you say that. Back when I left the first time I struck out from Virginia, like to see what else I could do, after doing the conventions and being all over. Like I knew how to do the conventions and stuff, but I was like, well, how do you just travel and, be on the road? Like buzz. So the first time I did it, I remember I made a stop at Michigan at a friend of mine's house, and I was going to tattoo him and his kids, and they're all grown, but they were all coming up, it was just a bunch of friends and stuff like Sturgis, and we just, I was going to do that.
Yeah. Man,
I tattooed one or two of those kids like in their 20s.
Yeah.
And I was so busy, I wound up staying there for like almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Because it was just every day I had 4, 5, 6 people that wanted to get tattooed. And I'm like, okay, I can only do so much a day.
All right.
And I set up a little studio there, and I just worked until I was like, okay, I got it right. But I never told a person, not one, that I was in town, that I was doing tattoos, nothing. Just once I started tattooing, it was like opening the gate. You know what I mean? They just keep circling back.
Yep.
And it's really an awesome thing because you make some really great friends. You get some really awesome stories.
Yeah.
But it's just
the fun part for me by doing that, like Sturgis and things like that, is, and it's probably kind of a maybe an ego thing, probably, which kind of makes me sad right now to think that it might be, but. In a way, I guess, hopefully there's an angle outside of that you are getting people are willing and allowing you to put your artwork on them. And then thinking of all the people they meet that ask about their tattoo. Yeah. You are a part of that person's life, of their story.
Your story,
You're part of who makes them who they are. There's no erasing what that time that you spent with them. Think of all the people you've met for a few hours that you don't ever think of. They are poisoned.
There's that connection.
Yeah. And it's really fun for me to kind of think sometimes about someone out there I did a tattoo on that I haven't thought of forever, talking to someone, talking about the time we spent, and I was able to do that artwork on them. And it's just a neat feeling to, it's probably like selling a painting, I suppose, if you think, every time someone asks about the painting, but you didn't probably meet the artist, you didn't spend that time you don't wear that painting. Right. It's a really kind of unique thing.
Yeah. I mean, think about how many people, like let's say you tattoo 100 people. All right, 100 people go out and they meet another 100 people each. Well, every one of those people they've met have heard the story about you at this, this piece of art and where it came from and who you are. It's kind of neat. Like, there's a lot of people that know you that you don't know.
Just to fuel the ego more, I guess. But think about this. If you were not a tattooer, but you were heavily tattooed or even had a substantial tattoo or whatever, and and there was a book called Joe Smith, and it was your life. There's going to be a small chapter, at least, in that book about you getting that tattoo.
Yeah.
It is a part of your story.
Yeah, sure.
It's and through all the cosmic things that happened, you and that person spent that time, and you became imprinted into that novel that is their story that made them who they are. So it's neat in that way to share that thing that can't not be mentioned,
right?
It's in someone's book.
It kind of goes to almost the spiritual level. I mean, we've had a relationship. Humans have had a relationship with tattooing. Well before any religion, organized religion, as far as we know. Yeah. So I mean, that tells you that there's that connection of it's a part of you, and that somebody had to put an effort and some thought into what you represent yourself as,
and the trust between that because you could find some dead humans laying around, but you couldn't prove that they interacted with each other.
Except for the ones that have tattoos, because they tattooed with somebody.
But if they have a tattoo on their shoulder blade,
them and one other person hung out at some point,
then they trusted them to the point where they allowed them to be scarred and have a foreign thing put into their body by them. So just the story of two life forms trusting and sharing the closeness, the bond they had to trust each other in that tells you millions of years of data just collected just from that act. You know, really. So, it's
anytime you allow
fun.
somebody to mark your body, permanently, so to speak, as long as you're here.
Right.
So some other scams would be
and shifting gear.
Sorry.
Well, it's we can label it whatever we want when we're done.
Yeah, I'm sure. Long conversations.
Conversations are good. Well,
Conversations in the
interesting,
kitchen.
and I guess that
See, we came up with a new
and
show.
it's not that. It's just
Let's prove that.
I have that way of I
Keeping
I'm
order.
oriented.
Yeah, you're that way.
Can't help it.
We know it.
Authority. We already talked about the tattoo gate, so I think we don't need to talk about that anymore. Just be careful, people, with deposits and etc. Another thing that came up recently was the FBI agent that got busted for sexual. Well, everybody has to say SA now because I guess you get clicked if you say what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think it's part of the First Amendment.
Yeah, on YouTube now.
YouTube Amendment.
Basically, he had conned these girls into coming in because he had contacted them on Instagram and told them, "Oh, I would be very interested in you becoming a model." And he portrayed himself as a female talent agent and also a tattoo artist, which he dabbled at tattooing, I guess. It's a sideline other than his FBI
So
thing.
he shops Amazon.
Anyway, so
he's a predator and he got caught, and hopefully he's getting lots
basically.
of shower
I haven't
time
heard
with
a
his buddies.
follow up on it, but what his whole gig was he would have him come in and get that first tattoo session, and then he would schedule a modeling session, and then get him in a hotel room or somewhere, and basically put him in a situation where it's like, oh, hey, you take care of me, and I'm taking care of you. You owe me this. It was almost like the tattoos were in somehow payment for the activity that he wanted. And I think it's impulsive because there's a lot of younger girls in their early 20s that want to get tattooed. I understand that. There's a lot of attractive women that do that. It's not a shortcut to getting a bodysuit.
If you get a bodysuit when you're young, like 4 or 5 years old, they ain't much ground to cover. So it will get covered way faster. But
yeah, you get what I'm saying.
You're going to grow into that thing. I don't know how it's going to look. That fish is going to be something real special.
Yeah, but if you're 20 years old and you're like, I want to get tattooed heavily, and you don't really want to get a real
save your money,
and you want to get into modeling, it's like too much of it's a very easy for a predator to come in and take advantage of that.
Well, yeah,
So this guy was an FBI
agent.
Wow.
That must mean that's why that one ad was up I saw that was,
Oh, yeah.
jobs in Des Moines. It was FBI agent. You could be FBI agent. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to apply for online.
So have you guys experienced anything like that? There's always been kind of shady.
No, I don't want to be a model, and I've already have tattoos, so.
Somebody's raising their hand.
Oh, my wife over here.
I knew people when I was in my early 20s that were tattoo artists that weren't FBI agents that would do that.
Oh, yeah.
Not the sexual assault part, but they,
traded
in tattoos.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. Yeah, I've never done it. But
I would always go to a new town when I moved towns and find a strip club and get a strip club, stripper girlfriend, and I would tattoo her, and then everybody saw it. It was like a walking business card.
Yeah. I've pierced people for free that was in relationships. You guys have tattooed people that you're in relationships with.
Well, yeah. I tattoo my friends for free.
Yeah. I've never went like, if I do this, I'm going to get this. That's never been the situation.
No, man. I tattoo because I want to tattoo. Right. If I didn't want to tattoo, I'm not tattooing you.
Yeah. No, I think I've been approached on the flip side of that.
Oh, I have too.
Where, it's
all
like,
the time.
Okay, I like money. Just.
How about we go in the back and you guys you can just do this for free?
I do some barter.
What's going to happen back there?
I do a little bit of barter tattooing, but it's not for any kind of favors like that. I want planes, guns,
there was probably
cars,
a day and age where there was some value to that.
Yeah, when you're in your 20s. And
to to be a woman and say, hey, I'll give you sexually what you want. But today it's like, who won't?
It's everywhere. Yeah, it's kind of everywhere.
It's there's no value in it anymore.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's no
other people.
There's no value.
Nope.
There's no. It's just laying around. Why? It's not even a bartering tool anymore. It's just expected almost. So. They're going to have to come up with a new scam. It's almost sad or laughable if someone thinks that, offering them something sexual is somehow something that's hard for anyone to get this day and age. At all, no matter what you are, how old you are, what you look like, what you might be carrying as far as disease, anything. So how low does that put you on the scale of value?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It's foul. And not only that, but you're assuming that the artist is just as disgusting as you are.
Yeah, that they value sex over your personal well-being.
It's you know,
it's a long shot.
Yeah, think about that sitting on the corner of your bed before you choose your worth in front of someone like that.
It's that old Saturday Night Live skit, Ken Wan or whatever. It's sure, I cry myself to sleep at night, but could true love give me hot babes like this? It's that kind of situation. Exactly. It's like, no, we're not looking. We're human. We want better connections than that in our lives. I guess the thing that bugged me about this is I've known people that do modeling, and it's gotten into this kind of internet thing.
It always does.
And, and it's like one of them, I was just like, well, let me get this right. You went to this guy's home alone,
right?
That you'd never met before, and he paid you $200 to do these photos, and then you're upset because he tried to also do other things with you. I'm like, you need to play this a little bit smarter. I mean, Ted Bundy, that was his big selling point. Wasn't he the one that would take, oh, you're a model, you're beautiful?
No, that was, what's his name? He was on the dating game.
The Hillside Strangler?
Oh, yeah. The guy who, he ate boys, didn't he?
No, that was Jeff Dahmer.
That's Dahmer. And,
no, he's a cleaner cut looking guy. Real clean cut. I
want to
see
say
him like a tan,
Bundy.
like a light.
Yeah, that's Bundy.
Bundy was more known to be like in the college.
Yeah, but he would roll up into parking
like
lots and stuff and go, oh, you could be a model, and let me take photos of you. Yes,
Ramirez
did that
he was
too.
on the dating game.
I think that's
because he was a photographer for the LA Times.
Yes, he was a
too.
photographer, and he would tell chicks because he was a professional photographer to take their photos and blah blah blah. And then he was on the dating game.
Girls,
and everybody thought he was
and
super
boys.
hot. Yep. And
Google gave me Rodney Alcao.
Okay, yeah, that's the guy that I know way too much about.
That was the guy on the dating show.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ramirez was a photographer.
Yeah, he was the one.
And stuff, but
yeah, he was the one that, and he was like Romero, like he was taking people's souls. That was his whole motivation.
They thought,
they're all nuts.
It's
allegedly.
It's about.
So what I'm getting at is, if you want to, if you feel like you're probably going to get taken advantage of, you're going to get taken advantage of.
Yeah, if you start getting weird vibes about something, chances are you're getting into something you probably don't want to get into.
And do your research.
And
and bring a friend.
Always.
Yeah. and people need to focus. I think I'll preach here for a second about keeping a very valued small circle of friends that truly care about you and your well-being and want the best for you, rather than how many people around you know your name.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have a lot of different ideas of who you should be and what you should be. And most of them want you to do that because it benefits them, not because it benefits you. So the fewer, more educated, loving voices you have around you, and it might be one, outweighs all of these other people's knowing your name and having an opinion on who you should be, and they don't care a damn about you. So stick to people you trust and that really care about you, not about you becoming the person that you need to be to make them happy, to give them what they want. Yeah. So stick to that, and things like this, getting scammed, will be less and less because you'll be surrounded by people who truly want the best for you, and that more often than not is going to happen rather than the latter. So,
yeah. And on top of that, it's like, I trust more people that when I come up with an idea and they say, no, that's not going to work.
Absolutely.
I trust people that are like, oh, that sounds great. Let's try that. I've never done that before.
Someone who says that they're your friend and is your friend is the only one that would say that's stupid.
Yeah.
Other than someone who is just saying that because they're intimidated by you.
Right.
So, yeah, saying, dude, you can do better than that. I know you can. You're a better dude. You know, that's you. I know you're in love with it now, but you'll see, man. Because I know you, man. You know, even if they might be a little bit wrong, it gives you a perspective of at that moment why they might have thought that you were wrong. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to bring you down. They're going, hey, man, no, you know, I know you got this. You know, you're better. That is them being truly your friend, saying, don't let yourself slip like that. Don't convince yourself that you are lesser or that, you know, you're a bad guy. It's not that. It's that I know you're a better guy in there, and you're convincing yourself you're not.
And how many people do you know in terrible relationships that you're like, you're better than this?
Absolutely.
It's not, you know, maybe you deserve to be alone because alone's going to be even better than this.
Right, yeah.
But it's like, oh, no, I'm
sticking
so
with
lucky that I have
you,
this. It's like, no, you aren't.
Yeah, sticking with people that tell you what you want to hear gets you absolutely nowhere. It's figuring out those people that truly want you, for you to be happy. Yeah. And people that want you to be what you need to be to make them happy.
Yeah.
So look out for scammers.
Yeah,
and yes, men.
And that can take years. It can take lifetimes to find those people. So if you say I've got 50 friends, you probably don't have one. You have no idea what, you know, a true friend should be. If you can say I got 50 and I'm 18, I just graduated, then no, you don't. There's no way. Because I'm almost 52 years old, and I can count my true friends on one fucking hand. So
I know a lot.
There that is.
Well, knowing a lot of people is different.
And don't get me wrong, I love everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody.
Yeah.
But people that truly will tell me what I have to hear and what I need to hear because they know that I need or can do better. That's the people I want right around me. Everybody else, interesting perspective, man. Okay, that's interesting, but I'm going with these guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love you all. Everybody, remember that, man. Just somebody is you along in that book.
Yeah,
they might be back a few chapters and being that retard you were back then. And
we're all going to be in a bunch of books together.
None of us got a freaking manual with this thing, man.
No, man, we're freaking it
They
out.
gave you a super computer and the fastest, coolest body in the world with no manual and said, okay, now don't fuck up.
And they give you the little, like, you know, blind people stick thing. Like, don't hit anything.
Yeah, and tell you you're doing it wrong. You think?
You're holding it wrong.
How could I do this wrong? Everything was laid out so perfectly. You know?
No pressure.
Anyway, but yeah, don't get scammed.
Ask a lot of whys.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's the most important question you can make about anything, regardless of what it is. If it's a business arrangement, if it's whether or not you should do something, whether or not this is a bad idea, the why is usually like, why does this appeal to me, and why is this such a great deal to me right now?
Yeah. Don't fall for you won the African lottery. Just send me $4,000 and I'll send you $10 million.
And that's one of those situations where, does this work out? If I do this work out for you, kind of no matter what happens to me? Or is this... you truly think that this is a great thing that will benefit me?
We do get complacent with, you know, just, absolutely. Somebody has, you know, they're smarter than me, they know better than me, and it's just, okay, go along with it.
Right.
And that's
do
not
that.
a good idea.
Yeah,
question everything.
People just don't know how to say no. You know?
I do.
Like this. No.
Well... Collectively, we need to say no a lot more.
I can say it in Russian and
people,
German and
to those voices. and I'll be clear.
Spanish.
We need to say no to those voices that are outside that very small, trusted circle who wants the best for you. Again, interesting point of view. It's something I'll consider, but I'm going to consider it from the seats you're sitting in, and you're back a few rows. Doesn't mean I don't love you. I love everybody, and the whole world is in this auditorium. But I got my brain trust. I got the people that I will stop a bullet for with my body if I can, kind of stuff, because they want me to be as good as I can be.
Right.
And I want them to be as good as they can be. I don't want them to be as good as they can be just as long as it benefits me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, don't get known
any
more
don't get
than
any
you are
better.
now, because then you'll leave me. And then no. Yeah.
Well, come on. Everybody likes the Roach Motel.
Just the ones with the ankle bracelets on.
That's my favorite analogy is, like, you know, people are like, why did all my friends end up drug addicts? I'm like, it's Roach Motel, man. Nobody wants to get high alone and destroy their life alone.
Absolutely.
No, man,
roaches. You ever see a roach? It goes in the hotel
Yeah.
And
They
the
all have
other
friends.
roaches come along and they're like, what's it like in there? Oh man, the food's great, man. There's everything you'd ever want in life. And then they come in there, they get stuck, and they go, why would you do that?
I didn't
don't
want to be
know.
alone.
Let's see how many other people we can get stuck in
because-
here.
Check in, but you can't
Because
check
if
out.
I'm the only one who did it, I'm an idiot.
Yes.
But if I got a group, we can convince ourselves that everybody
are idiots.
outside
Yeah,
is an
they're
idiot. So it makes me feel a lot less
Yeah.
stupid when somebody else agrees with my dumb decisions. And with that,
Yeah.
I think we beat this one to death.
Yep.
shtick.
I just want to say, I've been kind of shook by the natural disaster out in California. That does kind of affect our community to a degree because
Absolutely.
tattooing
Same thing in North
California was a
Carolina.
huge influx in a starting point for modern tattooing. Body piercing, the industry began there with Gauntlet. So I'm hoping everybody's safe out there, and I'm hoping by the time this airs, it'll be over with, and you guys can start rebuilding.
Yeah.
Because I'm just devastated by it.
Yeah. I've got like a lot of the country does because California, everybody lives in California. Somebody knows somebody.
Absolutely.
That
And somebody in
directly
that
affected.
city, either through art or music or film or something that's
Everything.
touched our life in some way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Man, share your bed.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got an extra room. You got I know you're gonna people, but man, it's gonna be your house or your neighbor's house.
Yeah.
So remember, we're not taking anything away from each other. We're the only thing we got.
Yep.
Because the people that could have stopped it, they didn't.
No.
It's just straight up.
Yeah.
The people
yeah.
that could have stopped it didn't stop it, and they decided not to stop it. They don't care. The best thing you got is your neighbor.
No.
Treat them like they're you.
And on that happy note.
Always.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching or listening. If you'd like to see more of this, we have plenty on our YouTube channel. There's also, you can see listen to the audio version pretty much everywhere podcasts exist at this point in time.
You have no excuse.
You have no excuse. If you'd like to check out our merch, check out the merch store. Link is in the description. Jimmy asked me if the monsters are up on the site.
Yeah,
they are up on the site. So they've been up there for a while, which it kind of surprised me because I know I told you.
Well, I forget things.
I know everybody does.
But now they're there.
I've got lots of more. It's never mind. It's all important information.
I just got to remember when to open it and read it.
And the biggest thing is, if you have a topic that you'd like us to cover, well, not the biggest thing, but one of the things, please leave a comment. We're happy to answer questions or even go over topics we've done before.
Hey, how about this, DaVo? We've never talked about this before. I doubt. Well, maybe. But anyway, even if someone has an interesting topic that they even want to, really put their 2 cents on, or thinks that it would be, fun for other people to hear, they could call in, and we could have them on something, and
one of these days I'll figure out all the technology on that, but we can do that.
Yeah.
We could do Zoom or something.
At very least, though, it wouldn't, it could be something that was done, in an office situation, recorded, and then, but yeah, that would be kind of neat. So
Send
don't
us
be shy.
videos or
Let's give them
comments or whatever's easiest for you to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
And we'll take a look at them and take it from there.
Absolutely.
But till next time, here's hoping all your tattoos and piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we would all love to see if you're tattooing and body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Be good.